Reliable information brings accurate insight, after all.
Few games bring such intense, stressful focus in me where every loss brings me ever close to utter hopeless defeat. One of those games was the Lovecraftian masterpiece Darkest Dungeon, originally released back in 2016, a time that feels almost decades away despite being only 7 years. It was time to move forward and travel to the modern age for better or worse. Darkest Dungeon 2 is both developed and produced by Red Hook Studios and is currently on Steam for these prices.
A bit of comfort on the road to damnation.
Darkest Dungeon 2 holds true to the grim, harrowing, Lovecraftian ink-on-paper art style, but now with the addition of 3D, and the tone setting with visuals alone is a masterclass in visuals that tell a story. From the desperate people left on the road to the dilapidated inns and unsettling indescribable creatures and cultists you have to fight your way through, it leaves nothing left untouched by the horribly dark fantasy that hasn't lost its touch, but rather blossomed from its predecessor. Another incredible improvement is the satisfying and fantastic animations, giving weight to each attack and really selling the characters and enemies, giving a really satisfying look to the meat of the game.
A murderous melody lingers, long after the final chord has been struck.
The sound design is perfecto. There are subtleties everywhere in the ambience of the crawling darkness. From the very start, you can hear distant cries of horses, the occasional destruction of a cart. The music of the inn hums with dissonance, a calming tone playing against the horrors that follows it. And the road's tune has a consistent thumping track, rhythmically encouraging you to press forward into the occult gloom in front of you. What truly stands far and above it all is the marvelous, eloquent narration once again provided by Wayne June, which is an incredible returning addition. It baffles me that it is somehow even better than previously, as if the narration hadn't already seeped into my mind already. From deep lore spills to the frequent quips during combat, it is a consistent golden goose egg of rich, well-worded, and atmospheric presentation that I truly cannot get enough of.
You can feel it. A change in the air.
With all of the polish and beauty of the game, it is no wonder that the storytelling is fantastic as well. Deep, lore-rich narration opens every run, and each hero has its own story to tell that you can find in hero shrines along your path, both giving insight into the characters but also giving permanent new abilities for that hero to use. However, I'm left a little disappointed. While I admire Red Hook's decision to deviate and make changes to its original design, I feel it's lost some of the best points. Gone is the incredible setbacks of losing to a party wipe. I no longer truly fear making bad decisions, as I always gain something for my trouble with nothing to lose, and a good part of the player agency has disappeared, along with the collecting of resources to take on challenges set forth, now replaced with what I would describe as a roulette wheel where you're almost always betting on the wrong colors. Runs are now much like the average roguelike experience, with simple meta progression that give mediocre buffs or new items for your future runs. The map is a multiple choice railroad, Slay the Spire-esque if you will, leading to an eventual endpoint of an inn to rest and relax, and boost the party with what you have gained along your expedition until you reach the dreaded mountain and take on the big bad boss of each stage of the story. There are many events and landmarks, from boss lairs filled with a variety of difficult sub-bosses to hospitals, watchtowers, merchants, and even the desperate remaining villagers who you can assist for extra loot. The combat is as thoughtful and strategic as ever, forcing you to take your time and calculate the best options in an ever-changing battle, as your morale, health, buff, and debuffs, the enemies themselves, all make a huge amount of difference in how the battle plays out. I know it is a small thing, but you don't die from heart attacks anymore, so that is nice. One of the great changes that makes an impact is the relationship system. Party members can now agree or disagree with decisions, and over time you may find some becoming friends or rivals, providing jolly cooperation or undermining each other. Making good use of this system is incredibly rewarding, as these buffs can make all the difference. One of my first successful runs was done with only 2 party members remaining, Barristan and Dismas, who were able to heal and defend each other back and forth until the boss fell. It's a little unfortunate I hadn't recorded that juicy experience that was built off of the relationship system.
Consider all variables, but do it quickly.
Darkest Dungeon 2 is certainly still a great experience, although a different one. I definitely still recommend the game, but it has strayed from the experience I think many were expecting with the sequel. With great art and sound design and a deep turn-based battle system, despite an average roguelike experience, I give Darkest Dungeon 2 a 7.5 out of 10 Eldritch Tentacles. I make both long-form and short-term reviews. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing for more game reviews and hit that like button, as it really helps me out with the accursed algorithm that desires cult sacrifices for viewership.